Welcome to it then, episode 64 of Off the Leash, brought to you by the Racing Post in association with Premier Greyhound Racing. And what a week. The big race action just keeps on coming. A Cat 1 double header this weekend. Friday night, the Coronation Cup final at Romford. And Sunday afternoon, the Three Steps to Victory final. Very much looking forward to that. A fascinating final, that one. A few grand stepping up into the unknown. As ever, we are in top class company. Open race correspondent from the Racing Post joins us, Tony Bullen. What a weekend of greyhound racing coming up, Tony.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, both events are over six bends, the both of the finals, so plenty to play for. Not necessarily the finals that many would have expected, particularly at Romford, but there's all to play for. There's 10 bags up for grabs day.
There is indeed. Right, you are here on the Racing Post YouTube channel. Do remember to like, comment, and subscribe. You know the drill, whether you're watching us on the RP YouTube or Racing Post Grounds Facebook. Get involved. We're interested to know your thoughts. One or two people just shoveled on Wiki Ned last week. I wanted to know your thoughts, and it was a resounding Wiki Ned all-in job. So hopefully you gamble responsibly, but hopefully you got stuck into Wiki Ned who did the business. Right, so what we got coming up? We'll start with the three steps. Then we'll look back at the Silver Salver final. We had that last weekend, of course. And then we'll tackle the Friday night action at Romford. Right, let's jump straight into it then, shall we? The three steps to victory. A fascinating competition, a tri-distance event. Heats 480, last week's semi-finals 500 metres, this weekend 660 metres. And just quickly, Tony, an interesting competition because this is a good starting point for connections to step their dog up in trip. And we're going to find out on Sunday whether some of these dogs stay or not.
Yeah, it's always been a unique event. It's a couple of years. It's worked out not too great because you've had a lot of the dogs that don't stay make the final, and sometimes it was just a war of attrition. The dog that did stay best emerged successful, but in current times the stayers have qualified, and you get a blend of a bit of everything. You get a bit of variety in this competition, but it's set up for another good final. I mean, unfortunately, six railers. So Sheffield is a little bit difficult to pass, and that short run at the turn. So you're going to have to be foot perfect at the start to get round unscathed.
Yeah, two big finals, and they're both jam-packed full of railers. Six railers in both of our finals. Let's look back then before we look forward. The semi-finals, there was three of them. First two went through, remember, 500 metres here. So lap of the track. We try and run it on after the line here as well. So just to give you a little bit of a clue. Right, semi-final number one then, Chelm's Bear in trap one. Keep your eyes on him here in the red jacket. Formerly known as Barnsick Bear, of course, now with Yarmouth trainer Craig Morris. He's in trap one, 28.86 the winning time for Carrick Fergie, who we were both very sweet on last week, Tony, which I thought he was home and hosed here, second bend, but what a run from the winner, the red jacket. He left it late, but he powered home.
Yeah, we got the prices about Wickyned and Carrick Fergie, but this was a punch in the gut for me because, as you say, I thought we was all home for all money, but you don't underestimate how strong this Chelm's Bear is. Obviously, formerly known as Barnsick Bear. He stays really well. When he's got daylight, he really does put it down. He's really opens up. All credit to him because I still thought Carrick Fergie had done enough. He did what he needed to do at the boxes. Just pipped at the post, and as expected, Chelm's Bear pulled clear to the pickup.
Yeah, really nice performance there. Hell of a run. So I think the runner-up's a fair dog, Gary Hamilton's Carrick Fergie. So good run. Really, really good run. Not as good as this run, though. So winning time there was 28.86. The winning time here was 40 spots quicker, 28.45. Wiki Ned back at home over the 500 metres. The Jim Crack winner, the Steel City Cup winner over course and distance. And he did the business in the semi-final in some style as well. He went from trap three, Arthur Job, I thought ran well here in trap one to qualify for the final. 3/1. This dog's a champion and he showed it on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, he was turned over at odds on in the first round, but Carrick Fergie did everything right, and it just shows you how difficult it can be to pass at Sheffield when you have to come from just off the speed. But Wicky Ned, the longer run to the turn, the extra distance, played to his strengths. It looked the race, as I say, we was amazed that he was 8-13. Like he looked guaranteed to lead even off a misbreak, and look what he does when he wins. He posts fast times and the demolition job, half a job. I mean, all credit to Patrick Godfrey. I mean, this dog's acquitted himself well in the Monmore Puppy Derby, and he's been running well against some top class dogs, and gives the impression he could be suited by the step up in distance.
Yeah, interesting one. Wiki Ned, of course, though 8 to 13. I think he went off 1 to 4 in the end. Showed all of his class, miles clear on the clock, 28:45. What a run! And we've got to mention it here, Tony. Of course, he's very pertinent. I thought he travelled quite strongly to the drop as well.
Yeah, well, even before this event, if you watch his races when he's won, he's not been flagging. If anything, I think he's a bit of a puller from the front. He likes the heat of the battle. I mean, a couple of the competitions that he won, he had to dig deep in, and I do think if he led, I think he would stay. It'd be a difficult dog to pass, particularly as I say at Sheffield.
Yeah, well, of course, remember, he won the Steel City Cup from off the speed, didn't he? So that was a hell of a run. Right, let's have a look at the third semi-final then. Droopy's Extra Good, 28.97 in trap four. Kilmore Dancer in trap one. What did you make of this one? Droopy's Extra Good's got some really good form over course and distance. I think he chased home Wiki Ned in that Gym Crack final last year.
Yeah, he's a dog that I've always really liked. The Droopy's Extra Good. I thought he came into the event not at his best, but this was a bounce back to winning ways at the right time. Again, he just sort of tracked a little bit better than he had been in previous outings. The Kilmore Dancer dog, you're always looking over your shoulder with a dog like him because you know he can quicken up at any stage of a race. But this underlines how decent the Droopy's Extra Good dog is because he was still going strongly after the winning line. And again, another dog that enters unknown territory, but gives the impression that if he could get turn handy, he'd probably see it out okay.
Yeah, let's have a look at the draw then for the final. The time, ground nutrition, 3 steps to victory, 660 metres. Remember, heats 480, semi-finals 500, 660 metres here, and most of these stepping into the unknown here. Right, the draw on the inside: Chelms Bear 13 to 8, Carrick Fergie 2 7 to 1, Kilmore Dancer 7 to 1, Droopy's Extra Good 16s, Arthur Job at 25s, and Wiki Ned at 2 to 1. Connections of Chelms Bear probably couldn't have asked for a better draw here, Tony.
No, I think they'd be delighted with the draw. I mean, I don't think. I think it's more. They'd be more pleased that Wiki Ned's out in six. I don't think it would have mattered too much if Chelmsford would have been drawn two, three, or four. To be truthful, but I think the way it has worked out is ideal for Chelmsford, and I do think that he'll land the spoils. He's proven over further anyway, so there's no danger about his stamina. He's won a toaster over the distance. So I just think that he'll just bide his time in behind. The ideal scenario is that Carrick Fergie wins the early battle because that would be the perfect dog to set the target for the others to aim at. Wiki Ned, if he led, I think he'd win. If but that's a big if. It's not a long run to the turn, and he's going to have to do everything right, even when he brings his middle pace into play. Wherever Chelm's Bear turns, you know he's nothing's going to be finishing better than Chelm's Bear, and I just think that he'll loiter with intent on the inside. He'll get a good posse on the rails, and however close he is, I think the writing could be on the wall at the fifth bend.
Yeah, it's fascinating. It really is fascinating. The right favourite, I think, in my eyes, but the prices is what's going to draw me to Wiki Ned here. He's 2 to 1. You might get bigger come the off. I think there's going to be opposition to this dog. A lot of people, I think, are going to think the same perhaps as you, Tony, that he's going to really struggle to race to the front early doors. He might burn up the petrol to get there. I think this dog oozes class. Switch to the outside can sometimes help him out the boxes. He'll need to trap smart because we know it's such a short run to the turn. But if you're asking me, in a foot race over the first 20, 30 yards, as he going to get on against Kilmore Dancer, Droopy's Extra Good and Arthur Job, I'd say he's going to bury him. So I think he's just got to miss Carrick Fergie early doors. Obviously, over that 480, Carrick Fergie crashed out. If we see that again, he's definitely going to bustle up Wiki Ned. Chelm's Bear's an interesting one. He won over the 7-12 at Toaster. For me, he what I'd call grovelled home. He crawled home over the 7-12. He stayed is strong enough, but I don't think he's a mega, mega strong stayer. Like he need to be by halfway near the leaders, I think. But it's a fascinating race. If my life depended on it, which thankfully it doesn't, I'd go for Chelm's Bear on the draw. But I think there's juice in the price of 6 Wicked Ed. He is a champion. He loves it round Newcastle. Jimmy Fennick is not silly. He's done the trial with a stayer. the Ballymac Camilla bits. You didn't get to him. They've had the clock on him as well. I've watched him to the drop. I think he's off the front. He'll get home. So I'll take my chances at the price. But it's such a fascinating race. And it's probably what we wanted at the start, Tony. Something like this.
Yeah, and the other thing with it being at Sheffield as well, it could be crowd city. Like Chelmsford Bear could be travelling with a double handful at halfway, but if you've got to check your stride, the amount of dogs that have to check their strides, they're travelling like they want to unleash the speed, and they're having to check the stride in behind the leaders. So it all depends on how many Chelmsford Bear's got in front of him at the third bend. Obviously, the less, the better it is, but there could be a few goalkeepers in the way as he's trying to pick his way past.
Yeah, Craig's a top young trainer as well, so it'd be nice for him to get one on the ball with the Cat Ones. So we wish everyone well. I think the draw makes it absolutely fascinating, but I'm going to go with the champion that is Wiki Ned to maybe get off the front and make all the run in there. That is at 1 minute past 5 on Sunday afternoon. Make sure you tune into that on the Premier Greyhound Racing channel. That is going to be fascinating viewing. Right, let's look back then before we tackle Romford. And there was a need for speed at Central Park last weekend. We had the most lucrative two-ben race of the year. It was, of course, the final of the Arena Racing Company, Kent Silver Salver. It was wide open. We both really strongly fancied Rock Sheen, and this was dazzling from Kevin Hutton's charge. He goes from trap 2, he breaks the track record. That's how you win a Cat 1. 16:01, Ballinakill Liam in trap 6 runs a blinder. And we got the each way money. Beaming Isla at the start, 125 to 1 in the racing post, 100 to 1 on this show. We needed to be in the first four. She finished third in trap 1, which is marvellous. But this dog is a machine when he's right, Tony.
Yeah, and it was all over at the start. I mean, if Connections could bottle that exit, I mean, he's already got a tremendous strike rate, the dog, but he'd be unbeatable. It notch up 20 consecutive wins or more. It'd be like the Ravage again of the modern days. It's fascinating, really, because he's a dog. He's a big dog, and he's fragile, handled with care. So it's all credit to Kevin Hutton and the team to get him to do what he's doing. But I remember you chatting to me about the final. You were saying like the draw closer to the rails would be beneficial as long as one of the middle to wide dogs trapped with him, because as much as you can move off at the first bend, the six dog trapped with him, and that would have just stopped him from drifting right off if he hit the crown of the bend at the wrong lead leg. But it didn't. It was just cruise control, a joy to watch. I mean, it wasn't a troublesome race, and he's just won it by a wide margin. It was Usain Bolt esque.
Yeah, listen, this dog is fast. I think if you put a speed gun on him, I think he's probably the fastest dog in training. His trapping has been an Achilles heel, but listen, he's won a Scurry and now he's won a Kent Silver Salver, two big competitions. Targets for him, the Scurry, can he defend that? Well, it'll be at Dunstall Park, Wolverhampton in October, so looking forward to that over the 217 metres when that track opens. And will he go back to Nottingham? He had problems at the boxes, the 305, the national sprint. Although it doesn't carry the most prize money, it probably carries the most prestige for me, the national sprint. If you've got a sprinter, that's the target all year round. All roads lead to Nottingham. So we'll see him on no doubt at Dunstall Park, and maybe we'll see him at Nottingham as well. So looking forward to seeing him doing battle with the likes of Kill Liam. Richard Reese, of course, has got the Shadow Storm dog as well. Yeah, the two Ben scene is thriving at the moment, and there is the superstar Rocker Oishin. So well done to all connections. Lovely people behind the dog as well as, of course, Kevin Hutton and Donna Witchells as well. They've done some sterling work with him because he's had so many problems off the track with injury. So great to see him back and in full flight. Right, Friday night delight then at Romford, £10,000 up for grabs. The Coral Coronation Cup. They all fell by the wayside last week. All the big guns crashed out, Tony. We've ended up here. Let's bring you the draw and the betting with a 4-6 poke. Fabulous Sonique. If I told you at the start of the competition that Fabulous Sonique had got to the final, you'd say, yeah, she's classy. If I told you she was going to be 4-6, you'd think I was mental. Cree Bonham on the inside, 12-1. Jay's Rocket 12s, Teddy 9-2. Fabulous Sonique 4-6. Golden Palace flying the flag for us here at 40-1 anti-post. And Whitewood Libra at 22-1. Again, six railers in the final. I think the four's just going to crack out and make all. What do you think?
Yeah, I couldn't be backing four at odds on. I mean, to be true, if you'd offered me 11 to 10, I don't think I'd be a player.
Yeah.
One thing she does do, which we've mentioned, she thrives on her racing over course and distance, and that's three quarters of the battle. She's a nice all-round pace bitch. I think she can overcome. She's handled various track draws throughout her career. And I thought it was a good run. I mean, because Teddy tracked really well, and then she's hit the front at the third bend, fabulous Sonique. And although Teddy did come back with a little bit of a renewed effort up the home straight, she was not for passing. I think she's a little bit of a jealous type, fabulous Sonique. But I'm going to be with fabulous Sonique. But I know you've put up Golden Palace anti-post. Obviously, the draw hasn't worked out too well for him. But
Understatement of the century. Yeah.
yeah, but can one? How can Creed Bono be 12? So I can't. I wouldn't be wanting the late 12 to one Creed Bono. He's thriving again. Jim Reynolds' dog. He's thriving on his racing at Romford. He's improved his strike rate dramatically since having regular runs over the 575. 12 to 1. I'd have to throw a couple of quid at Creed Bono at the prices and even throw him in a forecast because I think he'll run another honourable race. He showed a bit more urgency at the boxes last time out, and he can come from off the pace as well. So if you're looking for a bit of value, I'll make him about a 6, 7 to 1 chance personally. Creed Bono, 12's is massive.
Well, I'm going to be there on Friday night, and I'm hoping that Jim Reynolds is going to be there because, of course, he's announced that retirement beckons for him. And what a finale it would be for Jim at his old track Romford to bring the house down with Creed Bono. So, best of luck to those guys. Listen, Teddy popped out. I thought it was race over last week. It was a hell of a run from Fabulous Sneak. You mentioned thriving on her racing. She's flying. She was the winning most runner out of the Mark Wallace kennel in 2024, which in any year is a feat in itself. Most of those wins would have come over course and distance. I just think, Mark Wallace gets them out the boxes in the final, doesn't he? That's what he does. So she's 4 to 6. I'm with you. I think that's plenty short enough. Golden Palace has got a chance if we smash out. The dog has got that in the locker. Of course, he's a big race winner already. Won the Queen Mother Memorial Cup at Sheffield. He's got brilliant form over course and distance, but I just feel like four's going to be in front with a lap to go, and that will be that. But looking forward to that. Speed and stamina required, of course, over the 575 at Romford. 2 votes for Fabulous Sonique, but I think if we're going to push Tony for a bet in the final, it's probably a little bit each way on the top, is it?
Yeah, just at the prices, I wouldn't want to be laying 12 to 1. I'd rather take on four odds on, like, because I don't, as much as she's the likeliest winner, I don't think anything represents odds on in a six railer any given Friday at Romford as well. You got a few things in your favour.
Yeah, there was certainly some turn-ups last week. No, there's no doubt there could be some turn-ups this week as well. That is the Coral Coronation Cup final live on the PGR service. Right then, best bets of the week. It is that time, Tony. Where are we off to?
Well, there's so much great racing going on, Dave. I've gone for a substandard maiden open at Monmore. It's a virtual A1.5, probably A2 in disguise, but Blue Bert for Kim Billingham Hine. I just think he beat a couple of these rivals last time out. Freeze the unknown quantity in the race. Longacre's daddy for Pat Ducey's moved well enough in qualifying trials, but this Blue Bert dog, I just think he'll turn handy on the inside. He's got a great draw for me. I think he'll get a nice run around the first two bends and grind out the win. I think he'll be about a 6 to 4 shot, so I'd settle for that.
Okay, right, Blue Bert on the inside there at Monmore. Right, hear me out then. I'm going with Wiki Ned in the Three Steps to Victory final. It's probably the price that's reeling me in here. If you can back Wiki Ned in any race at 2 to 1, I just think if this dog comes away, he races into the lead. From what I've seen, I think he's going to get home. He's just got to get to that winning line. We know if he can pop out lead, he's going to make a beeline to the route, he'll be on to the route, and then just keep pulling off the front. He loves it round Sheffield. Jim Crack winner, Steel City Cup winner, and I think he can trap and lead at the turn. He's got to miss Carrick Fergie early doors. If he does, his natural pace and class will just take him to the front, and then it will be catch me if you can. That is going to be fascinating 5:01 on Sunday at Sheffield, the Three Steps to Victory final. Wicky Ned, the ground of the year, in the stripes. I'll go with him at 2-1. I think he can cut loose around the outside of Makel, so he's going to be my best bet of the week. Wicky Ned for me, Blue Bert for Tony. Then all the action live on the Premier Greyhound Racing service, behind the red button on Sky Sports Racing, and of course on the PGR stream as well. Right, that is it, Tony. The action just keeps on coming. You know, we've got all sorts coming up at Hove. The Northern Flat and Angel of the North kicks off next week at Newcastle. It's never ending.
Yeah, it's the, as I say, I've said it for time and again. It's good to see a calendar structured properly so trainers know there's the event, where it's taking place, what distance it's at, how much it's worth, and prep accordingly.
Yeah, Sussex Cup and the Premier Greyhound Racing Regency as well on the horizon. So it is warming up. The weather's red hot, and so is the racing. Right, this has been Off the Leash, brought to you by the Racing Post in association with Premier Greyhound Racing. Do remember to gamble responsibly, enjoy your greyhound racing, and we'll see you next week.